What is up, Dallas Cowboys fans? It's girlfriend IndyCar Tim here with another Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz. We are just a day away from training camp 2025, beginning on Tuesday, July 22nd, with an open practice out there in Oxnard, California. If you are one of the lucky ones who get to attend out there this year, I would love to hear from you. I wish I could be there, but I have about 12 different NFL teams that I cover, not just the Cowboys, and why the Cowboys are my favorite. My work schedule prohibits me from attending Oxnard, California. May be able to get out there next year with a little bit of pre-planning. But if you are out in Oxnard, among the beautiful weather and the fine dining restaurants and all of the great things that happen out there, I would love to hear from you at IndyCar Tim across all my social medias. Just rub it in. I'd love to see the Oxnard picks. I'd love to see your picks from training camp. I would love to see just how much fun you are having out there. If we like the picks, maybe we'll use some of those and showcase you and the good time you are having right here during training camp on the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz podcast, right here on the FanStream Sports Dallas, part of the FanStream Sports family of networks. Also, check out Tampa Bay, Ohio, Kansas City coming soon. All the other great locations where there's sports. But anyway, we're not here to talk about those things. We are here to talk about your Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys training camp 2025. It's here. It's hard to believe it's here, man. I feel like we just had the draft. I feel like we just are still arguing about draft picks, what the Cowboys should have done. I feel like we're still not really settled in with the coaching staff yet. But I've come around, boys and girls. I've come around on the coaching staff. I was not excited about the upcoming season, was not excited about the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer. Felt like it was a give-up move after Jerry was sure that Mike McCarthy was going to return this year, and he didn't. I felt like Brian Schottenheimer was kind of a give-up move, like a panic move. But you know what? I've come off of that now. After Schotty has hired his coaching staff, I might be more excited than I was had McCarthy return. So I'm looking forward to training camp. I'm looking forward to what the Cowboys have put together here. And I have put together a few little storylines here for us to pay attention to. None of these are breaking news. Some of them I feel are important. Others are, there's not a ton here. It's the Blitz. We're not going to do an hour-long show on Cowboys training camp. It's not what we do around here. Some interesting thoughts on Micah Parsons and his contract. Some interesting thoughts on Dak Prescott's health. Cavante Turpin arrest news. Not that he's arrested, but an update. And then I'm posing a question to you, boys and girls, an unrelated question to all of these 5 topics that I would like to hear your thoughts on. But first and foremost, have the Dallas Cowboys pissed off Trevon Diggs? I feel like the Dallas Cowboys, Trevon Diggs relationship has taken a tremendous downturn. I don't like how this is progressing. And look, I don't know how you feel about Trevon Diggs. I feel like because of his recent injuries, I'm not as high on Trevon Diggs as I was before. His performance, I need to see a lot more from him, which is going to be difficult coming off of the injury. Cowboys have him under contract technically through 2028. He won't be here that long, boys and girls. He's set to make $12 million this year against the cap. That is way too much money for a guy with his recent injury history. But have the Cowboys pissed him off? How would you say the Cowboys pissed him off? Well, if you haven't heard, number one, this goes back to last season. The Cowboys were not happy with his rehab. He has chosen not to rehab with the team under their supervision, but do it all on his own, with his own guys, and out in Miami. And Cowboys did not like that. They don't feel that he put these are reports. It's not me saying this. These are things that other people have said. They don't feel like Trevon Diggs has put the work in to fully rehab. And that showed because clearly he wasn't better last year, right? So the Cowboys enforced a $500,000 salary de-escalator on his contract, which means basically they took back $500,000 of his salary. It's $500,000. What does that mean? For him, nothing. Again, he's set to make, I think he's set to make about $10 million this year. But he's $12+ million against the cap. That is because he did not participate in at least 84% of the team's offseason program. Why did he fail to participate in at least 84%? Because he wasn't here. Because he was in Miami, rehabbing his knee away from the team facility. And every guy has the right to do that. You don't have to rehab with the team. I'm not an athlete. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that with the team. Unless you've got just your guys that you think you can rehab with better, and why not maybe coordinate that with the team? I don't know. It seems fishy to me, but again, I don't know. I'm never in this situation. I'm just throwing this out there. I have had multiple knee surgeries. But of course I rehab through the direction of the hospital and at the hospital facility where I had the surgeries. So I feel like this is sort of the first shoe to fall in the breakup of the Cowboys and Trevon Diggs. They're not happy with his play. He hasn't played great. They owe him a lot of money. He's not doing much to help himself out, to endear himself to the team. So, yeah, I think before the Cowboys pissed off Trevon Diggs, I think Trevon Diggs pissed off the Cowboys. And this is where we're at. And don't forget, last season, when the Cowboys first expressed their dissatisfaction with his rehab process, Diggs took to social media and said he was going to make a YouTube video titled, quote, "The Truth Behind My Injury," end quote. And he was supposed to divulge the reasons why all this was happening. Well, we never saw that video. He never did it, which again brings into question his motives and his actions. I'm not taking the team side. I'm not taking Diggs' side on any of this because, number one, I don't know. And number two, I don't really care. At this point, I'm kind of done with Trevon Diggs. I know we're not the Cowboys. I say we, sorry. I know the Cowboys are not super deep at corner, but, and yes, he's better than nothing, clearly still. But I believe the Cowboys really need to start thinking about moving away from Diggs, and I think they have a little bit. So that's going to be something to watch just this offseason into the preseason and see how healthy he is and how well he performs or how well he doesn't perform next season. Some good news from the Cowboys from the draft as Donovan Aziriaku has signed his second-round deal. And if you're following the the NFL closely, you will know that a number of second-round picks around the league did not sign their contracts, which is weird because the salaries for all of these guys are dictated by the CBA. They've got slots. Depending on where you're drafted, that's how much money you can make. But the questions with these guys, their contentions with the contracts was not the dollar amounts itself. It was the guaranteed money. So if you follow this with any of the teams, it was a number of teams, not just the Cowboys. This was a trend this offseason that second-round picks were not signing their deals. And by rule, by the CBA, players are not allowed to participate in training camp unless they sign their rookie deals. Now, they can perform in the offseason, they can perform in OTAs, they can perform in mini camps, all of that great stuff, and most of them did. Not all, most of them did. So now as teams are starting their training camps, this is all coming to a head, and most of these guys have all signed their second-round deals, including Dallas Cowboys, Aziriaku. So it's good. No standoff. He'll get the money he needs. He'll get the money he deserves. He'll get the money that's slotted to him. So the contention with him, I believe, was in year 4 is guaranteed money, and I believe the team ended up winning that because his year 4 is not fully guaranteed. But he will be he'll be here for training camp, and that's good news for the Cowboys. They're going to need him to at least participate, and they're going to need him, I think, to perform and be a contributor, I think, in 2025. Micah Parsons, that contract situation has still not been resolved. And as he suggested all year, Micah Parsons is doing his part. He is under contract. He's fulfilling his contract obligations. He said he would show up at Oxnard despite not having the contract extension. And he did show up to Oxnard. Now, will he participate in training camp? Probably not. He hasn't said that he won't, but don't look for him to be a part of it, as he will, I guess, do, what do they call it, a hold in. He's not holding out because he's on site, but it's a hold in. That's the most likely scenario for me, as the team will start training camp on Tuesday, the 22nd. Earlier in the month there, he had a pretty interesting quote. I thought he said, quote, "You go out there, you perform again, and then you think we could get it done early. You can't want us to take less because you decided to wait, period," end quote. So basically, he's doing his part to show up, but he's entering the final year of his rookie deal. He is grossly underpaid at this point. And I'm not normally one to take sides with a player in a contract dispute. It's the contract you signed. It's not the team's fault that other guys that play your position are being grossly overpaid, raising the market value. You signed the contract, you play the contract. But again, I kind of get the player side of it. He's entering the final deal of the final year of his rookie deal, and he is being grossly underpaid by market value. He doesn't want to get hurt this year without the benefit of, future guarantees, without something in his future that would protect him if he goes out and gets hurt this year. So I get all of it. I get both sides of it. The fact of the matter is, Jerry's now waited so long that, and I did another video on this a couple days ago. You guys go check out my Micah Parsons video. Whereas I feel like Jerry could have signed him for a long-term deal for about $35 a year earlier this offseason. Now with everybody else that signed, Hunter in Houston, TJ Watt up in Pittsburgh, Myles Garrett up in Cleveland, it might take 4 years and $45 million now for Jerry to sign Micah Parsons. And you know what? If that's the case, just go do it. The longer you wait, the more it's going to take. So just go do it, Jerry. But Micah, I feel, is doing his part, showing up, saying all the right things. If he doesn't play or participate in training camp, I completely get it. Nothing wrong with that. Kevontae Turpin update. We all know about his arrest for marijuana and gun charges earlier this month. He spent one night in jail. Those are both misdemeanors, but Turpin is still subject to the NFL's personal conduct policy. He could be fined still by the team or the league. But we know the league's kind of come off their marijuana stance, right? Like, guys are very rarely getting harsh punishments for marijuana, especially in the misdemeanor situation there. But there is a chance he could still be suspended by the team or the league for the gun charges and even for the marijuana charges a little bit. I mean, who knows? But we don't know yet if he will miss any playing time. It could happen. The Cowboys should prepare for that. And finally, Dak Prescott. Miserable season last year without Dak with the calf injury. All we really want is for Dak to be healthy. We would love to see a full season of Dak. You've now got George Pickens in place. However you feel about the George Pickens trade, if you think he's a good dude or a bad dude, if you think he was a miserable failure in Pittsburgh, if you think he's a cancer in the locker room, or if you think he's great, whatever. The Cowboys have him now. Opposite CeeDee Lamb. again, regardless of what you think of CD Lamb, whether you think he's overrated or if you think he's only good and puts up stats because he's the only option, they're both here. And place them where you want in the ranking of wide receiver duos in the NFL. They're both here. Dak's got a new toy. All we need is for him to be healthy. But what does Dak think? Earlier this month, he said, quote, "I will be a full go for training camp. I'm healthy," end quote. Seems like he said the same thing last offseason when he was dealing with some stuff too, though, right? So that's what we want to hear. That's what he has to say. We will only find out if that is 100% true based on the number of snaps he takes in training camp. And then, of course, we don't expect him to play in the preseason. But we will see. We should have a good idea of what his health situation is just through his work in training camp. All of these things leading into Dallas Cowboys training camp starting on Tuesday. Storylines to keep an eye on. Aside from the position battles, we have all the position battles. We'll talk about those further here on the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz as we get closer and closer to the preseason and as those storylines begin to tell themselves and bring more of all of this stuff to a head right here on the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz on FanStream Sports Dallas. I appreciate you guys being a part of this. Make sure you check me out on social media. Here is my not trivia question, but my poll question for you guys. Do you think CD Lamb and George Pickens are a top 3 wide receiver duo in the NFL? I'm not saying the best. I'm saying top 3. Do you think they're a top 3 wide receiver duo in the NFL? Either comment in the comment section underneath the video here or let me know on social media at IndyCar10, wherever you find me. I'll be keeping tabs. We'll report that back on the next edition of the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz podcast right here on FanStream Sports. Until then, boys and girls, we'll see you.